Hey guys, how's it going? Listen, I know you're busy, I really do. I know you've got a lot of things going on right now and probably things that are more important than sitting in front of your computer monitor as you listen to a guy like me talk. But I'd like to take a few moments of your time. Seems like lately, more so than normal that is, I've been getting a lot of parents who've been reaching out to me through my social media channels. And they all seem to have a common theme going on right now. They're blaming themselves for what's happening between them and their children. And I want to talk to them about that right now. But before I do, I'd like to introduce myself to those who don't already know me. My name is David Schubert, and just like you, I'm also an alienated parent. But I'm also that guy who's been writing those reflection articles you may or may not have come across a time or two, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever on social media. Now, that being said, let's get back to the topic at hand, the blame game. If you're blaming yourself for the alienation that's happening between you and your child, get it out of your head. I want you to stop it right now. You're not to blame. You never have been. I don't care who tells you you are, or if that ghost of alienation creeps into your head, get it out. It don't belong there. You're not to blame. Now I'm going to share a little bit of my history and a story. I remember back in, 2007, June of 2007 to be exact. That's when parental alienation entered my life. I'd never even heard of the term, let alone the definition of it, until it smacked me in my face one day. Well, I remember blaming myself. I was banging my head against that wall. I was banging my head against that wall. I was rolling around the floor. I was screaming into a pillow. I had about 100 different emotions all tangled up at one time, fighting over who was going to control what. My stomach was knotted up. I was a total mess, I'll be honest with you. And those who say, I can handle it. If you didn't go through that, you're more of a person than I am, because I admit I must have been weak. And I don't mind, because it shows that I had a humanistic feeling about me. And if you did, it's okay. But I kept blaming myself. I questioning, what did I do wrong? What could I have done different? What could I have changed? And those questions kept haunting me daily, all day long, all night long. I couldn't sleep half the time because I kept giving myself all these self-doubts. And it wasn't until, I suppose, maybe 2 or 3 years later, after learning about parental alienation, reading what others have gone through and what the experts have written, I learned something. I didn't have to punish myself anymore. I was never the person that should have been blaming myself. Instead, it was the other person, the other parent. You see, it's not our fault. We didn't choose to be alienated from our parent, from our child. What happened was we wound up being in the life of someone else who is going to try to take us over. Because you think that the person that you married, the person you fell in love with, you thought you chose him. I'm going to tell you right now, you didn't choose nothing. And that's a fact. You can go ahead and read about it all you want, and you'll find out that I'm telling you the truth. You didn't choose them. That person that has alienated your children from you, they chose you. They were looking for a specific kind of person, and we just happened to fit the bill. You see, these folks, they want someone that they can control, someone that they can manipulate, someone who has a lot of empathy, someone who has a forgiving nature and gives all those second chances and look past things. And when they found us, they knew they had their mark. They told us all the right things. They made us feel the way we wanted to feel. They made us feel special. We fell for it because they had that mask of deception way up, hiding exactly who they were. And they had it cinched up so tight. We couldn't see past that mask. We couldn't see the darkness, the ugliness that was behind it. And they kept it up just long enough until we were fully entrenched into their web of deceit. Usually, that's right about the time the children arrive on a scene. Because they know when children enter the picture, unlike before, you could have packed your bags up, hit the bricks, and problem solved. You're away from that crazy person. But when children are in the picture, here's the problem. You love your children. You're not going to run off from them. You're not going to desert them and leave them behind. You want to be in their life. And that alienator, they know that. But just like a lot of you, you come to a point that you can't take it anymore. After they've lowered that mask of deception and they reveal who they are, we've had enough after a certain point. And we decide it's time to go ahead and break. And we hope that in the process, maybe we can co-parent. Half the time that doesn't work out so well. I know I would have liked to. Well, that's another story, but at any rate, co-parenting doesn't always work. It's always the best thing for the children. And in many respects, it's also good for both parents. But the alienator, they don't like it. They're not going to co-parent, because here's the thing about it. Alienators, they either have an underlying mental health issue, most times, not always, or they have a sense of self-entitlement, which is different than an underlying mental health issue. Now, that being said, they all share three common traits: money, control, and revenge. Now, they know that they're going to fight tooth and nail because they want custody of those children. Guess what? That means they're going to get money. They don't want to have to pay money out to you. So they're going to fight tooth and nail to get those children. Then the next thing, revenge. They know that the best way to get revenge on you is through the use of your children. They will use them as tools, weapons. They will do whatever it takes because they don't care. To them, they're like inanimate objects. They can use them the way they want. They can teach them how to hate you, to disrespect you, to make you feel like you're less than what you are, turn you into a monster. And they do that through manipulation. They do it through lies. They do it through planting of false memories that never took place. They will be the gatekeeper to make sure that you don't even get a chance to see the children. That's what the alienator does. And they do this not just for the revenge, but also because of control. Remember I told you about control? That was one of the three things. Well, guess what? The moment that you decide to get away from that alienator, they knew that they could no longer physically control you. But they weren't done yet. They were still going to do everything they could to retain a certain amount of control over you, if that meant using the children to do it. They were going to control your feelings. They were going to control your emotions. They were going to control you psychologically. And what better way to team up? Well, guess what? Again, it goes back to the children. They get their revenge by withholding the child's love from you and getting them to hate you. But at the same time, they know it's tearing you up inside. They know that all those emotions are going to keep you dangling like a puppet on a string, and they're the puppet master. They're controlling you. So you weren't the person that, you thought that you were. You weren't to blame. You just happened to get tied into the person that betrayed you ultimately because of the goodness that you actually have as a person, with compassion and empathy and forgiveness in your heart. So put away those self-blame games and start living your life. Live for yourself, live for your children, and get away from that thought. Because when you do, now you can start to grow and you can start to heal, and you can start to be that parent that's fighting for your child without having your mind scrambled on other things that ain't important, that don't even have relevance, that don't even apply. So please, I ask you, put those thoughts out of your head. When you do, now you can take that first step towards the healing. And when that happens, now you're preparing yourself for that child of yours. The one who's waiting without even knowing for you to be reconnected with him. You see, children weren't born to inherently hate their parent. They were taught that, and it can be undone in time, but you have to be patient. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and end this video for now, but keep that in mind, and we'll chat again real soon. Take care.